Hey my dudes, welcome to What's a Smackdown. I'm Tasha and this is Corey and we're here to talk all things WWE. So did you all watch Raw this week?
It's pretty awesome.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
And it started off really good. It started with a bang,
Yep.
like CM Punk and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And I don't personally, I'm not a CM Punk fan, just so you know. But I do find him very entertaining.
Absolutely.
He's very good on the mic.
He is. Great with promos.
He's so good.
He's really good like that.
He's always been very controversial.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's always been good to watch that.
Of course. He always intrigues you. No matter who his opponent is, because of the way he speaks on the mic, he just brings you in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and no matter who he's talking shit about.
You know what I mean? It's like, you could be like, sort of like you're not big on CM Punk, and you could sort of
you're watching.
You could be floating past the TV and you'll see him there, and it's like, oh, CM Punk, whatever. But then you listen to what he's saying, you're like, oh, I better listen because he's really good on the mic like that. You know what I mean?
I just think like he says funny shit.
Always.
Some of the shit he says, it's like, did he really just say that?
I know.
And him starting on Seth Rollins. As you can see they're really picking that back up and running with CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. So
Absolutely.
we can, as we said on the last podcast, because you actually said what you think is going to happen is that Seth Rollins might end up with the title by WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it could be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the title.
If CM Punk wins the Rumble,
because that's what we were discussing.
Absolutely.
So if you did see the last podcast, even if that's not something they plan to do exactly in terms of, championship belts, we can see there is a beef here.
Absolutely.
With these two. And so that started off really good. They're fighting all around the arena.
Brawling everywhere.
And then it became official.
Yeah.
They're going to be in a match on the first Netflix episode. It will change over to Netflix.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be interesting to see. Drew McIntyre is out of the picture.
Yes.
I think, anyway.
Seems like he's focusing on the bloodline now.
It does, but although he did try to start on... did you see him try to sneak up? On
Seth Rollins,
and Sami
Zayn, yeah.
Sami just comes from nowhere. I think he's done too.
I think what we've seen in the last couple of weeks, I think he's definitely going to be focusing on the OG bloodline, not the new bloodline.
Yeah, what Drew McIntyre had said to Seth. So he's tried to come over to Seth Rollins about Roman Reigns. So that conversation between them two.
I know he was trying to.
He was coming in Roman's trying to. She's got everyone fooled.
Mm-hmm.
Although. And Seth gave it to him. He's like, I'm not your friend.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? He's like, I'm friends with Jay and Sami. He's like, because I respect them.
Yeah.
And basically said he doesn't respect Drew McIntyre.
No, that's right.
And Drew McIntyre is such a psychopath.
Yeah, I think saying that Drew McIntyre is such a psychopath, that's why I think he tried to attack Seth Rollins. I don't think it's going to be anything of it, to be completely honest. I think his main focus now, because I think him and CM Punk's done, him and Drew McIntyre. They've had their 3 matches or whatever.
And the whole bracelet thing.
Exactly, there's a big rivalry for a while, it's done now, you know what I mean?
I do.
I think he's really, and I've heard in the last couple of weeks that he's really focused on, he wants to take out Jimmy, Sami, Jay, and then obviously, possibly Roman.
It seems like, because he was really big on how Roman's fooling everybody. It's just, he's waiting for people to acknowledge him again.
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing, is Roman just going to go straight back to, because let's face it, he's really only a baby face at the moment because...
Of Solo.
That's right, exactly. But, he's not really, you know what I mean?
If Roman Reigns, but you're exactly right, take Solo out of the equation, for example, like WrestleMania 40, Roman versus Cody, going the same way, Roman's hated, Cody's loved, Cody wins, Roman leaves for 6 months, Roman comes back like he did.
Yes.
Take Solo and all those out of the equation. When Roman comes back, everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, Roman Reigns is back. Whatever.
True.
But because Solo was there and he's taking everything on the new tribal chief, Roman comes back against Solo.
People
my God, we love Roman.
Yeah.
Yay, Roman's back.
It's so the way.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so the way.
Yeah, exactly.
They know how to make
Drew McIntyre
love or hate the wrestlers.
The most messed up thing about it is Drew McIntyre basically is telling the truth most of the time.
No, he so is.
When he comes out and says all these things, you know what I mean?
Even though he seems like such a psychopath.
He does.
But you're right. He is telling the truth.
Exactly.
And maybe that could be perhaps because I don't know. For me, I like Drew McIntyre. I think he's a good wrestler.
I think he's a good wrestler.
I really hate that they've made him a heel.
Yeah.
I prefer him as a babyface.
Yeah.
So it does suck that that's the road they have taken.
I think he's a
with
good
him.
heel, but because he's just a
He actually
psycho.
does do it
You know
well.
what I mean?
I think he plays
I think
it
he
well.
plays. I think I think he does heel well. So.
I think so too. But anyway, so obviously Seth got what he wanted. He went up to Adam Pearce and he was like, "Do your job," pretty much. So match, they're good. They're golden. And so what else happened on Raw? Obviously we seen Liv come out, Liv Morgan with Raquel and Dom, and everyone's still booing the shit out of Dom.
That's great, isn't it?
He can't even say 2 words.
It's fantastic.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, could you imagine how frustrating that is for Dom, because he can never speak. Like, the crowd hates him so much. I don't know if it's really a hate thing anymore, if it's more just, like, taking the piss, annoying, like, just trying to, like, annoy him, because he can never speak. But who really wants to hear Liv Morgan talk about Monday Night Morgan? Oh, my God,
and
really?
the greatest women's champion there's ever been.
She's not.
You don't even... She's not even near the conversation.
Are you kidding me?
Jesus.
No, oh my God. If I think of, like, greatest women champions that we've ever seen, she's doesn't even come in that conversation for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I think of women who have been the greatest, like, I'm going to go back to, again, forgive me, Attitude Era days, with China, Lita.
Absolutely.
Like, they're some of the greatest I've ever seen. And if we want to come into, like, more modern times, Charlotte Flair, like, is so good. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
I thought I thought she was a good champion.
Yeah, I think she's a good wrestler.
She's a mad wrestler. Are you kidding me? She's
I think
AJ
Sky's a really good wrestler
I know,
too.
but she wasn't champ for very long.
No.
To be maybe considered she is a really good wrestler.
Yeah, she's not in that conversation. I just was, just making the point.
I get what you're saying.
I think she's a good wrestler. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
She's like a Ray of the women's division. She's small. She's actually pretty small.
Yeah, but there's a few small women.
No, there is. You're right.
There's a few small women. Right. And Liv Morgan's not tall.
No, she's not very tall.
Have you seen the size of heels she wears?
Yeah,
She's obviously pretty tiny.
Did you see the knee she got from Io Sky in the face?
Didn't she nearly break her nose?
Yeah, that's Saturday night's main event.
Wow.
She had a bleeding nose.
That's great, but I know we already discussed this.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the last podcast, but I mean, we all knew that Liv Morgan was going to retain. Like, we knew this.
I think it's
But I agree. I think it's shit.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
I would have liked to see Io Sky take it from her.
Well, now it's obviously Liv and Rhea again all over.
Well, because Rhea's come out, interrupted, and straight up, she's like, "You might want to hang around for this."
Yeah.
She's obviously in the contenders.
She's the number 1 contender.
Yeah, for her title. I don't want to see Rhea champion again. I know you're behind anyone who's against Liv.
I am.
But I just don't really, it doesn't matter to me that she's against Liv. I don't want to see her champ again. I don't. Yeah. I would rather it be, I don't know, anyone else. Rhea had it recently. She did have it.
She had it for ages before.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why I don't want to see it again.
I know what you mean.
Because she had it for ages.
I know what you're saying.
It's not like anything about her or against her.
It'd be like
it's like Roman taking back the title from Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be like if Roman was versing Cody now, like at pay-per-views for the title, people probably feel the same. Like, come on, Roman just had it for 3 years. You know what I mean? Why is he getting a chance?
And Rhea had it for ages.
I get it.
So,
I'm pretty sure she had it for like a year or so as well. So I understand.
But it felt longer.
I think it was like a year and a half maybe.
Hey,
I think she had it for maybe like a year and a half maybe or something. But she had it for a while.
She did.
She did,
and I just don't want to
say I get it. Like, I get the point you're making. I do. And it's always been like that. No one wants to see the same person.
No, but here's something interesting. We did see Raquel compete for the Intercontinental in the tournament.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we're going to talk about this because it happened, but the reason I mentioned this following kind of Liv Morgan and Rhea and how we're saying we don't really want to see Rhea champion again, and we're kind of sick of, you hate Liv, and we don't want Liv to be champ because she's annoying. Like I mentioned last time, Raquel didn't win this match, and we thought Raquel would be a sure thing, and she didn't.
No.
Zoe Stark actually won. Now, we will touch base on this in a moment, but Raquel potentially, like I said, what if she turns on Liv?
Makes for a good story, you know what I mean?
It does. It does. And then, we could see Raquel get a championship shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. We we could see like a triple threat match between the three of them at WrestleMania.
That's what I'm
You know
saying.
I mean?
Like,
you never know
we
what
could
road
really
it could go down.
Yeah, exactly.
but-
Because obviously Raquel's open now.
Yeah. I think maybe a lot of people will feel the way you do in the sense of even just like Liv versus Rio. It's been like that's been
I know.
like realistically
Didn't that happen last WrestleMania?
No, that's been since SummerSlam.
Oh, sorry, it was too, because she's only held the title since like August.
But pretty much Liv has. But you know what I mean. SummerSlam's still that's still 4 or 5 months ago. Like 4 months ago. 'Cause it's in August.
Yeah.
So it's been about 4 months, and it's like I get it. Same people. Same match all the time. Like I get it.
And we don't want to say delivery main
I
event.
think Raquel, I think you make a really good point. I think that would throw a really good spanner in the works for the storyline.
It would.
And even like we just said, it could be like Raquel versus Liv down the road, and it's like they want to throw Rhea in there too. Like it would work too.
Yeah.
To throw all of them against each other because none of them like each other. You know
no,
what I mean?
No,
so
like
they
exactly.
could really do something with that. So I think that makes her a lot more of an interesting world heavyweight, scene for the women anyway, you know what I mean? Rather than just Liv versus Rhea all the time.
That's true. And I think
like
until more comes out, we don't really, obviously we don't really know who's going to be in this.
No.
So, anyway, just back, I suppose, to that match.
Yep.
So obviously Zoe Stark won it.
Yeah, got the W.
And so she'll be competing against Dakota Kai.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So... And you know what's really interesting about this match? Because like the women in this match was obviously Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, and Cadence. Caden Carter. Did I say Cadence?
Yes. Okay, we're getting to the botch. Is that what you're getting to?
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah,
so even though Zoe Stark won, but the point I made on the last podcast too, my dudes, the women just fuck it up. Like
sometimes
how? Oh my god! So Zoe Stark goes to her finisher, and what the fuck? Like
she just threw him.
It was so obvious.
That's
you
crazy.
were like, hang on.
That's crazy.
Was she meant to do a move to Sen, or was she meant to do what the fuck she did? I don't think so.
She was meant to flip her and hit her with a knee. She
flipped her and did nothing.
She ended up over near the turnbuckle.
It was bad. It was really bad. And this is like, if we're gonna have women like this competing for titles, they should be able to do their finishes on anybody.
Absolutely.
Now, if your finish is one where it requires you to have a lot of upper body strength, perhaps you shouldn't make that your finisher.
Absolutely.
And Zoe Stark's like a pretty muscly chick.
No, absolutely.
Like she's a pretty bulk kind of chick.
Yeah.
But some women are going to be bigger than her, like in terms of body mass.
Definitely.
She's a short chick.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, maybe she should think of a different finisher.
No, that's right. I wonder how Triple H would feel like in that moment of, I'll pick her to win the match, and that's the way she wins it. Like, I wonder if he regretted that decision.
I feel like if Vince still ran shit, these people would be done.
Yeah.
They'd be fine.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I know, he didn't really give
There was no room for mistakes with Vince, especially mistakes like that.
Absolutely.
You can't.
It's a live show.
Come on, man. Did you see the crowd? Even the crowd was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, and this is the problem. This is the point I made about War Games.
Absolutely.
How bad the women were.
Yeah.
Like with Nia Jax in her shitty chair. She like, come on, man. Are you like, part of being a pro wrestler is it your job to sell it to us to make it look real.
That's right.
Now, when you have a move that you can't pull off properly, and the person still acts like they got hit with it, we're thinking, okay, this shit is really fake.
Yeah.
Like I said, could you imagine first timers watching these moments and be like, why? Who watches this crap?
Yeah.
Because that's what it looks like.
Absolutely.
That's what it looks like. So, I mean, congratulations to Zoe Stark, but I think the fact she fucked up so bad.
Maybe Dakota Kai's going to get the W.
Yeah, people don't forget.
You know what I'm saying?
Forget,
maybe,
right?
I'm not sure.
And, but like, well, I guess, so now it's her and Dakota Kai.
Yep.
And then we've still got...
Laura Valkyrie's through.
Yeah, but we're still waiting to see who's going to go against her. Now, it was meant to be Kairi Sane in this.
Yes.
But she got fucked up by Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville,
Pure
and...
Fusion Collective.
Yeah, yes. And who's the third member?
Shayna Baszler.
That's right, it is too. So they messed her up,
Yeah.
like slammed her hand in like the bin at the back.
Absolutely.
And maybe...
I really have ego takes
yeah, I know. I was going to say, did that get said or did we discuss that?
No,
I can't remember if it was official or if it was us.
No, we were talking about it earlier.
It was us.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier.
But that would be cool to see, Io Sky, because obviously I don't think she's going to get another title shot anytime soon.
No, probably not, because she just lost. So
she just had one.
It'd be cool if she could, because obviously Dakota Kai's already in, and she's the only other person in Damage Control, and she's already.
Well, because we said that earlier, because we said imagine if it's
Dakota Kai, if Io Sky takes her place.
Exactly, if it's them two who face off in the end, because they're actually in Damage Control together.
Absolutely.
And that's always juicy when that happens.
Absolutely.
But Damage Control isn't really a thing right now because,
it's not,
well, we haven't seen them together in a while because Asuka's not here.
No.
Asuka's been gone for ages.
It's been gone a while, yeah.
Dakota Kai and Io Sky.
Dakota Kai just came back, remember, from injury
she
from a while too.
But they're all doing their own thing.
Yeah, they're sort
like
of
realistically.
Io Sky and Kairi Sane have always been a tag team. They always tag together.
They have.
They were tag champions.
That is true, but at the moment they're still doing their own thing.
Sort of, yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Well, they're both in. Io was going for the world title, and Kairi Sane was meant to be in the intercontinental.
So that just goes to show. But I mean, they could let them hold the titles in the factions still.
Oh, a lot of people
do that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that'll be interesting to see who replaces. How that pans out, Who replaces?
I really hope Io does, because I like Io, and I think she'd be probably a perfect contention for someone that could be the first intercontinental champion for the women.
I actually think she would be a really good win for that.
Yeah, I do too.
But with that being said, sometimes I think the fact that Triple H give Chelsea Green
the United States Championship.
Who the hell knows who's gonna get?
Well, makes you think that, doesn't it?
Well, it does because.
Does it make you think Io Sky's too good for it, in a sense? A little bit, maybe.
I just feel like I said, if Bayley didn't get that title, and it went to Chelsea Green,
the United States Championship,
exactly. Yeah. Who's the Intercontinental going to go to? Is it going to be a deserving wrestler that we think is deserving? And to be fair, I'm sure Dakota Kai is deserving.
Yeah.
She's been here for a while, but as far as I have seen, as far as I can remember, for a long time, Dakota Kai's just been much of a promo person for
like a manager,
Damage Control. She's not really. She hardly wrestles.
Yeah, not much.
It's kind of and this brings me to the next lot of Raw, the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the New Day.
Absolutely.
So back before Big E got injured, it was always Big E and thank you very much. It was always always have a name blank. It was always Big E and Kofi Kingston wrestling all the time, and then you just really had Xavier Woods managing. More just doing dumb shit on the side and doing the promos and just out with them third wheeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now that Big E's gone, we're seeing more of Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
But speaking of them, Big E has been gone for so long. He was told he'd never wrestle again due to his injury, and he's actually trying to come back. Now, when he came back, my first feeling was, oh my God, he's going to wrestle again. He's going to wrestle again. And even though he tried to come back as their manager, I want to manage you. And they were like, no, we don't need you. Where have you been? And now they're copping it bad. Everyone's booing them. They're getting the Dom treatment.
That's right. No one even wants him in the locker room.
I know. Did you see Ray coming out?
No.
He's like, awesome. You need to find a new locker room. Pretty much.
No one wants you in here anymore.
No. And so, this is interesting because I feel like they didn't just bring Big E back for a little promo. That's what I feel.
Hopefully not.
He's such a good wrestler.
It'd be good to see him back.
It would be. Because who was it that put him out of action?
Rich Holland.
Why would you do that?
Did
you see that? But he's way too... This man was in no position to do a move like this on a man like Big E.
Big E's a big dude.
This is exactly what I'm getting at. He's a massive guy. He's very muscular.
Absolutely. His legs are huge.
Are you kidding me? His legs are like tree trunks.
That's what I mean. He's a big dude.
He's a huge guy. And a belly suplex requires a lot of strength.
Oh, that's what I mean. People like Brock Lesnar do them. You know
100%.
What I mean?
100%.
Big,
big dudes do that to big dudes.
That's right, exactly.
Not, and how pissed off Big E would have been.
Oh, man.
I feel like he's coming back for something more than just to manage the New Day. Come on, why is he coming back just to manage the New Day? I mean, he could be just to cut some promos. He could be their kind of Paul Heyman.
Maybe.
But I just feel like he's such a good wrestler, and if he has been given the clear, medically okay, to wrestle again, because some people look at it all the time. People are told they have severe accidents and whatever, they'll never walk again, and they do walk again. Like these things do happen.
Absolutely.
So like I'm not 100% counting Big E out.
There's been multiple superstars that have broken their neck and come back from
Exactly.
it.
So I think we could see Big E performing in the ring again. I would love to see that.
That would be good.
Because I think he's a good wrestler.
That would be good.
I think he is a good wrestler, and people like Big E could really take to people like Jacob Fatu.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I can't wait to see Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker, which leads to the next part of Raw.
It
obviously.
does.
Ludwig and Braun.
And the Dorito. I'm sorry, he's just Braun Breaker. Oh my god, the tan, my dude. What the hell? Anyway, let's not worry about the tan. Let's talk about that.
He's a dog.
I can't help but look at the tan.
He's an icon.
Whenever he's a dog. In Australia, that's such a bad thing. Like he's a rat. That's what a dog is here, my dudes. For anyone who's not Australian who watches this. But back to Braun Breaker. So I bet, come on, as if we didn't see him retaining.
Yeah, I guess.
Ludwig Kaiser wasn't gonna fucking win that. Are you kidding me? There was no chance he was gonna win that.
No, I agree. I didn't think that either.
He's not gonna win.
I was actually surprised it went on for as long as it did, to be honest.
Did you see him try to do Braun Breaker's like run around the ring?
Mm-hmm.
What a smart! Oh my god!
He's pathetic.
Oh.
But
and so, do you think he really copped his shoulder? Because you notice he didn't spear him, Braun Breaker. He just shouldered him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah.
Hopefully his shoulder's alright.
Well, because the spear's his move.
I know.
And like the spear's been a lot of people's move. It actually makes me think of. I'm just gonna go back to old wrestling again. You know when Edge and Christian and like Christian's like, what you invented the spear? Like, do you know what I mean? Because everybody uses the spear. Like,
a lot of
so many wrestlers have used the spear.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
And so many are good at it.
No, that's right.
And like a few wrestlers still use it today.
Of course.
Like Roman does the spear.
Yeah.
I know the Superman punch is like his move, but he also does the spear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Edge always did the spear, even though he's not here now.
Jay also does the spear now.
Yes. Jay's was pretty good at it too.
Yeah, Braun Breaker's good at it. He
yes,
does the spear.
yes, but he kind of puts that spin on it by the big
he
run
does,
around.
and he actually, because he was going to be a football player as well, he runs from the ropes and he gets up to like, you know.
I've heard this. He gets like some pretty crazy speeds on this. But he's a pretty short, stocky dude. Well, he looks short.
He is. He is actually. I don't think he's very, like, I think he's, you know, not short, but I don't think he's, very, very tall.
No, but he doesn't look it. He looks like he doesn't look tall. He looks like a smallish dude.
Yeah.
And because he's fairly muscular, he's like a small, stocky guy.
Yeah.
I actually think, as much as I'm not a Braun Breaker fan, I'm not one of the dogs, my dudes. What's he say? Where my dogs are? Is that it?
Pretty much.
Yeah, where his dogs are. Yeah, that's it. And he dogs in the building.
Goes, like,
starts barking and shit. Yeah, nah. I'm not feeling you, but I feel like he's gonna hold the title for a little bit.
Yeah,
the intercontinental. Yeah. I do. I'd really, just like this is a little bit off topic,
yeah.
because the title got taken like Jay's short reign. I was going to say I'd like to see Jay go for it again, but I'd really actually like to see Jay in the world title. I know.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be yet.
I know.
I think there's still a little bit before that. But
now's the opportunity too. I think this year was his chance to have it, if you were going to do it. He's so popular right now. And he's starting, I think as we said last time, it's kind of fading a little bit. He's still loved, but it is fading a little bit. And I feel like I'm a huge Jay fan. Right. So like I was really happy when he got the Intercontinental. I was like, this is so good for Jay. And then it got stripped from him like that.
2 weeks later.
So shit for Jay. And I was really I was pissed that Braun Breaker got it again. I was like, really, really Triple H, like.
So I seen a throwback the other day. It was Christian, actually.
Oh, yeah.
In 2011. And he won the World Heavyweight Championship for the first time ever. It was his first ever world title.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone was making a big deal out of it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Edge had retired, so he was like, he came back and was like, congratulations. Like, he wasn't wrestling, he was just really happy for him and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it was that week on SmackDown after the pay-per-view, Randy Orton actually came out and Christian was like, I'll put the title on the line, I'm a good champion. And he lost. He was champion for 5 days. And he didn't really win it back after that. I think he might have won it back once for like maybe a pretty short time again maybe, but didn't really have a title reign again after that.
Shit, man.
And
oh my god, poor
so
Christian.
I feel like like the whole point you make with Jay. I feel like what do these dudes deserve to do this? Like do to deserve this?
Yeah,
So you know what I'm saying? Like
being stripped so soon of the title.
But there's been people like
sad.
back in the day, like when in the
Well,
Attitude Era,
remember
they
we
were
had
champion.
a look, yeah.
They'd be champion. They'd win at the pay per view. They'd lose it next night on Raw. Champion for a day.
I know,
you know what I mean?
we have
Crazy,
seen that happen.
You know what I mean?
Actually,
So it does happen. Like
it does.
2 weeks is better than a day, I guess.
No, it is, but
I know what
to
you mean.
remove Jay, just to throw him straight back into the bloodline bullshit, like, and put him straight back with, obviously him and Jimmy are twins.
Yeah.
But
I think I honestly feel like they're building him. I feel like they're building him and building him and building him.
Yeah, I guess.
Like I think, and you look at Jay as a superstar, and I think you look at him like in the last say 2-3 years. I think he's come such a long way.
100%.
Like such a long way. You know what I mean?
I remember the first time I ever seen Jay, and when he was attacked.
Yeah.
And I thought they weren't that great of wrestlers, to be honest.
Absolutely.
But Jay's really elevated.
No, he has, and I think
really has.
I think Triple H like thinks for Jay the sky's the limit, and I think he's just like personally for me next. I think it might be like a Jay and Drew McIntyre storyline.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess because he wants to take out all of the bloodline.
Like Drew and Sammy, I know that's happening at the moment, but like they just had a match at Saturday night's main event. Like Drew, owned him.
Well, Sammy is Jay's best friend.
I mean? And
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I feel like Jay, like we haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. We haven't seen him.
No.
We haven't seen him since the
actually,
no. So
because Jimmy came out just
with his
he
broken
did
toe.
too. Yeah, that's right, and that's what he was saying because we mentioned that in the last podcast too. That he's going on doing his own stuff now, and he said he might be doing like some title match. He might be looking at that stuff himself.
Absolutely.
But and we have seen it obviously Jimmy versus Jay.
Yeah.
But I mean that could be like if we're looking at them going for the same thing, maybe Triple H could see something there too.
Absolutely. I think that just emphasises like Jimmy coming out and SmackDown. I think it really emphasises like they're going to go the way of them, their separate ways now.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they're going to put them back together anymore. But I think that's what the fans want. I think they want Jimmy Uso and Jay Uso, like
separate.
That's what I mean.
That's what I want.
They want them their own people, and
I agree.
Maybe it's better that they're on separate shows. Like one's on SmackDown, one's on Raw, and then the shit doesn't get mixed up again.
But like you said, that's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
Everyone wants Jimmy and Jay
doing their own thing.
Doing their,
you know
because I think they're so much better like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
and Jay's got the big following, the whole yeet thing.
Not only that, like they're getting older. Like they'll like,
they've been tagged up since forever.
That's
right?
the point I was going to make.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, which is probably fair enough. You know what I mean?
I do.
Everyone usually does it. Like you look at the Hardys, they separated eventually. You know what I mean? Like did their own thing.
I know. And
it's always like this.
And
like,
you know what's interesting, but like just on that is like Jeff had gone on to be a champ.
WWE champion
and World
Heavyweight champion.
He did, and obviously Matt, no.
ECW champion, but that was it.
Yeah, but exactly.
No,
exactly.
No.
Whereas that could be similar with Jay and Jimmy.
No, absolutely.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because personally, I can see, like I know I've always said I can't see Jay as a world champion. More time, like I've always said, I think like I think he definitely has the potential to be. Yes. I just don't think he's ready yet, and that's what I think Triple H thinks. So I think that's why he's doing this to him. I think he's throwing him in the big picture, seeing how he, throwing him in the deep end, basically seeing how he goes, and like putting him a bit like. You ain't going to see Jay versus Ludwig Kaiser like you would a year ago on Raw anymore. Jay's going to be versing people like Drew McIntyre. Jay's going to be versing people like, Finn Balor. Like, they're going to be Jay's opponents now because he's
well, I feel like the Intercontinental title is the road to...
No, like, we made that point, but we said that. I'm pretty sure we might have said that on our last podcast.
Do you know what I mean?
That is the road to that. And that's why I think Bron Breakker's the future. Because I think he's, I think he's a good Intercontinental champion. I think he's really, really talented, to be honest. I think he's a good wrestler.
Look, I think considering Scott Steiner never did much.
Yeah.
To be fair.
That's...
because that's his uncle.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
His dad's Rick Steiner, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And, like, I think it's like a Cody Rhodes thing, and a Randy Orton thing, and, like, so many of these superstars.
Third generation superstars.
Exactly,
yeah,
yes. Absolutely. And The Rock.
Yeah,
is a prime example because he was the first third generation, right?
Sure.
And he's also the first champion in his of color, actually.
Yeah.
So he really sort of made that a thing where you sort of surpassing your ancestors.
That's right. That's right.
Do you know what I mean? Your elders in a way, and we're seeing that a lot, because Rikishi was never a champ.
No.
And Jay very well might get that opportunity and might become one.
Absolutely.
Braun Breaker, like, I don't know much about Rick Steiner, but
Mm-hmm.
I obviously know that Scott Steiner and that, like, you know, they didn't do a whole lot with, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, again, Braun Breaker could do that, like Cody Rhodes. He surpassed his father and brother.
That's right.
Randy Orton surpassed his you know,
mm-hmm.
his father and grandfather, right?
Yep.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, we see this, yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we do see the younger ones sometimes do what the ones before them in their bloodline had not done.
No, that's right. And I think
so maybe you're right, but I don't know if I see Braun Breaker as the future, just personally, and it's not because he's a Dorito.
Just on the whole, you know, like being better than their dads and granddads. Like,
yes.
I just had a thought. I remember actually, funnily enough, when Cody Rhodes first started, and Randy Orton met him, and he said, you know, hang out with me. He goes, and I'll make you better than your dad ever was.
Yes.
And he hung out with Randy Orton, and I guess he's...
You know what's crazy is like looking back at Cody when he was young,
like
too.
brown hair, like super young in the face.
God!
You know what I mean?
I know.
Nearly baby face. You know what I mean? Like so young.
So young.
It's crazy.
And I actually think he looks so much better with the white blonde hair.
Yeah.
It really suits him better.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is, like I said, this is the best Cody we've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the best Cody we've ever seen.
That's right. He's in his prime. You know what I mean?
Oh, he definitely is.
He's in his prime.
He 100% is. And it's really weird because what is Cody, like, in his 40s?
He's 39, I think.
Oh, so he's nearly 40.
Yeah,
and it's weird to say he's in his prime because, like, 40 the new 20. You know how people say?
Absolutely.
You know people who are older say that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's kind of like that for him because, you know, especially because, as we said, we're not really seeing world champs as young as as when they did it with Randy Orton, for example. We're not seeing that. We're not.
No.
But anyway, I guess just back to what happened on Raw.
Yep.
We always go off track a little bit, my dude. Sorry. It's still all wrestling stuff, but so it's all good, right? Okay, so yeah, Braun Breaker beat Ludwig Kaiser, and who didn't see that coming?
Exactly.
And then we had the main event.
Yeah.
Right, which was the titles for the tag team champions. So it was JD McDonough and Finn Balor.
That's the War Raiders.
Yeah. Oh my God, they won.
Ivor and Eric.
Yeah, and I mean, now here's another like big dude. Ivor.
So impressive.
The way he moves for a big guy.
Him and Bronson Reed. Like,
they were doing crazy stuff together
remember,
against each other. Yes, I do remember.
Both big dudes and just both super impressive. Like,
it's crazy.
Can move, you know what I mean? Like, just...
But good for them.
Absolutely.
But I think good for them.
Just back to the War Raiders, like, I think, you know, like, well done to them.
That's what I'm saying. Good for them.
So deserving.
100%.
Like, you know, absolutely.
100%. And, of course, Damian Priest had to be there.
Screwed over Finn Balor and JD.
So we can see, obviously, that they're definitely going to continue on with the Damian Priest and Finn Balor thing.
You know, it's so funny. We just said that in our last podcast.
We did.
You know what I mean? We just said that they'll drag that on for longer.
And so, which is fair to say, Damian Priest and Finn Balor are probably not going to be in the title picture anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Not until they wrap this shit up.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be interesting.
Do you think Damian Priest will get another shot?
Maybe down the road. I don't think for a little bit, but if I can be completely honest with you, like I said, I think they'll drag him and Finn to probably WrestleMania.
I really like Damian Priest.
For like a big conclusion. You know, they love to do that.
They do.
So
they do.
You know, I think they'll probably go with that. I think it's really hard at the moment to actually tell who's next in line for a title shot against Gunther.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, yeah, who is
Seth and CM Punk are going to have their thing, but
they're doing their thing.
Like Drew's obviously going for the bloodline, so I think him and Jay will possibly have a thing, maybe. And you know, it's hard, I think, to tell who's going to be next in line. And like we said, Damian Priest, obviously him and Finn Balor's not done, so they'll have a thing.
No, exactly.
I can't, you know, so it's a tough one. I'm not really sure who's next. Maybe, in my eyes, I would probably say that the winner of CM Punk and Seth Rollins on the first episode of Raw should be the number one contender. I think that's pretty fair.
So what is their match at the moment? It's just a match.
It's just a normal match.
Yeah. So there's nothing really. There's no stakes at the moment.
Not at the moment, no.
No, but I think, like I said, I love Seth Rollins so much. I love Seth Rollins, and for me, as you said, he is one of those new wrestlers that just has it all.
Absolutely.
That very much reminds me of like your Shawn Michaels, your Stone Cold, your Rock. Like, they work great on the mic. They work the crowd unreal.
Absolutely.
They just are the good embodiment, like perfect embodiment of what a good champ
is. That's right.
is.
For me, of new wrestlers, out of all the people that are new, like, you think of new to, to us. You think of, like, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens,
Yes. Yes.
I'm trying to think who else. Finn Balor, like, he's new, you know what I mean? Like, they're all newer people, you know what I'm saying, to us. But I think out of sort of that newer era, I think, Seth Rollins is probably the best.
He really brings it.
The best
he really
superstar
ups that
they've produced.
I agree, actually.
And that's, for me, like, I look at all things. Like, I think on the mic he's brilliant.
Yes.
I think in the ring he's brilliant.
Yes.
Like, I think
I agree.
His entrance is fucking brilliant. You know what I mean?
Like Shawn Michaels, HBK, he's got the best entrance song I've ever heard.
You said it perfectly before. Seth Rollins, he's that top dude. He has it all.
He does. He's really, the overall package. He really does.
And I think he's really good.
Me too. I
love Seth, but I do love CM Punk as well. So it's really.
So you're kind of torn there, I guess.
It's hard for me because it is hard for me. I don't know. I think I'll probably go Team Punk because he's an OG.
Well, it's his last kind of hurrah, if you will. But he's an OG for me.
I knew him first. In a sense,
of course you did, but because he started first.
But that's what I'm saying.
To be fair to Seth Rollins.
No, I know.
He has been around longer.
I know.
And he's one of the original Paul Heyman dudes.
But if you like someone, and then someone else comes along and, in a sport or something, and you like that person, you're not going to change teams because you like the new person now. Like, you got to be, you got to stick strong.
Well, I suppose, but...
So I just feel like, because I've always sort of thought...
Look, I think the reason I mention this is because I do love Seth as much as I love him.
Absolutely.
I just can't see him...
beating CM Punk.
Well, if it's for titles on the line and stuff like that, no.
Yeah.
Only because I think this is CM Punk's last moments to do this.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because we were saying, like, CM Punk's never probably been in great shape. I actually think he's bigger now in the arms and stuff, like upper body, from what I can tell, than he's ever been.
Yep.
So obviously he's working perhaps a bit more like that.
On that go to sleep.
He's trying to perfect it again.
That's right.
I just think if this is the last time we're probably going to see CM Punk in the ring, these next coming years.
Yeah, I think this will probably be his last few years.
I agree.
I don't think
I agree.
I think we'll still see him around for a few years.
But I think this is heading towards the end of the CM Punk for wrestling for good because of his age.
Absolutely.
And like you said, he's never had a WrestleMania event. He's never.
He's been to WrestleMania. He's just never had a main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So he's never had like a main event in WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
He's never won a Royal Rumble.
No.
So this could be CM Punk's time.
Absolutely.
And like I said, if we're going to see him like winning Royal Rumble, like you think, and we've got the whole Seth Rollins thing happening, that means Seth Rollins needs to be in a title picture somewhere.
He will be.
Like, do you know what I mean? That means he's got to become champ again for a minute.
Have to defend his title, Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins can win that match.
Well, this brings us back to how boring I guess Gunther is. Like, who really likes seeing Gunther? Just I don't know.
Ludwig.
And I feel like Gunther, his title reign could be ending. It could be ending.
I really hope so.
I hope so too, because if let's say he does still hold it, but into WrestleMania, who's gonna face him?
Well, it's hard because everyone thinks at the moment John Cena. I just don't see it. I just think it's too predictable.
But then that means Gunther's gonna win.
Exactly.
Because John Cena, it's his last. He's retiring.
Right.
And I mean, like you did say previously, not on this in our discussions, they could give it to him again, like John Cena. And you know how they did it with The Rock? And even though they knew he was leaving, but he's very shortly had it. And
That's
then
right.
They could do that and make it like John Cena's last big win
that's right.
at WrestleMania.
There's one thing we forgot about too, as well with John Cena. Like I know the last podcast we were talking about Royal Rumble records.
Yes.
And like people have won, and
And this is his last chance to get that record.
No,
too.
it is. But not only that, John Cena is the only other person like Ric Flair that's a 16-time world champion.
That's right, because Randy wants to try and get up there with them,
Randy's
doesn't he?
14.
Yeah, so he's only a couple off.
So he's not far. But if John Cena, because Ric Flair's held that record forever.
Yeah, wow.
If John Cena wins against Gunther, if they give him that
he
W,
will beat
he'll
Ric Flair.
have the record. And a lot of people consider him the GOAT. So maybe they'll bring him back and give him that. Well, you never know. You never know.
Interesting.
They could.
Interesting.
For all we know,
and they love to break records.
No, they do.
Like, yeah.
They do. For all we know, it would be predictable, but he could win an Elimination Chamber the title and then go to WrestleMania and then lose it back to, like Gunther could win it back or whatever. Something like that. Like, I think that's too predictable. I think they'd have to sort of throw a spanner in the works if they're going to make John Cena champion, and maybe get him to stick around for maybe just a little bit longer.
Well, who?
Because I think it's too predictable otherwise. Like you
oh
said.
my god,
100%. It's
100%.
way too predictable.
It is. It really is. So, I guess if they did go down that road, I mean, who? I just don't know if they're going to give it back to Gunther again. I don't want to see that.
I don't either, but
I guess it's not about what you and I per se want to see.
That's right.
But I guess we are fans, and I'm sure there is a movement of fans who feel the same way we do.
That's right.
Who don't want to see Gunther reigning anymore, nor if he loses it, nor do we want to see him get it back
Definitely.
again. And if we're saying Damian Priest might be out of the picture, who? Is there someone we're not thinking of here? Is there people we're not thinking of?
Not really. The only other people on Raw I can think of really is Sheamus, and he's been in the intercontinental title picture.
Yes.
And Bronson Reed's out, obviously. He's injured at the moment.
Okay, but hang on. What about some new names like Jacob Fatu?
Yeah.
Because again, I've always. But they are doing roster changes.
No, they are. The transfer window's open at the moment, and they're swapping people around. So.
And I just feel like Jacob Fatu is something that they're going to do big things with.
Absolutely.
Because you can't tell me that we're going to bypass a man that moves the way he does and does the things he does with the size he is.
It's scary.
You can't tell me we're going to bypass this man. This man is actually... I remember the first time I seen him wrestle, and I was like, God, this guy is... Whoa.
There's probably honestly only one man that could verse him, and I'd be like, my money's on him. And that's probably Brock Lesnar.
The beast incarnate.
There's rumours he could be at the Royal Rumble.
Brock Lesnar? Yeah, okay, so the whole scandal thing, no, it doesn't...
I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I don't know, I think it's, bringing him back, I don't really want to see him win it, to be honest, because I think when Brock Lesnar's around, it's all about Brock Lesnar a lot, and I just don't know if I want to see that.
Do you remember that Royal Rumble when he just F5 everyone, and he was just standing in the ring alone, just waiting. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He'd mess him up and then throw him straight out.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And because I remember watching an interview actually with Roman Reigns. You would have seen the same one, and he said that it's not fun to wrestle with him.
Yeah.
Because he's just one of those dudes who just...
Bit rough.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts to compete against him. And who's to have another reputation like that? Oh my God.
Goldberg.
Yes. And they're saying that Goldberg might come back and spear Gunther.
Well, they reckon that...
Yeah. When do they think this is going to happen?
I'm not sure, but then I read something today actually that said his son... Actually, had come out and said, remember his son was with him at Bad Blood?
Yeah, isn't he a football player?
Yes. So his son actually had come out and said that he spoke to his dad and they discussed that if wrestling calls his dad about a Royal Rumble call up, his dad's going to be all for that. So
I think he would.
We could see Goldberg at the Royal Rumble too. I'm not sure. They reckon it's going to be a lot of good, a lot of big names. You know what I mean at the Royal Rumble.
I've never been a Goldberg fan.
No, I know.
Just to be honest.
Goldberg's getting too old though, as well.
Oh, agreed.
He's way too old.
Agreed. Remember that poll that was who had the best spear ever? And because Goldberg is one of those people talk about with the spear.
Oh, he breaks your arm.
I really thought rhinos were hectic.
Oh, rhinos were crazy.
Oh my God.
I don't think people could come near rhinos.
Rhinos were mental. His were next level.
Yeah,
are you kidding me? Oh my, he just went spear through you.
Absolutely.
That was crazy.
Absolutely.
But I mean, Goldberg is a name that a lot of people know and are familiar with in wrestling.
Absolutely.
And he has been used a lot in movies, and he has been that face that we've seen a lot. So I get what you're saying by big names. And what was interesting was the fact that Gunther started on
Goldberg.
Yeah,
Bad Blood.
how interesting is that's kind of a hint in itself.
Absolutely.
For Gunther to do that. And Gunther talks shit a lot. He talks a lot of shit, this man. Are you kidding me? I'm talking trash, like, to everybody.
Yeah,
I'm just, I can't wait to be done with Gunther. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
And we didn't see him tonight, but on Raw, but you know, he's the champ, so we do see him.
Didn't miss much.
So what other matches are we aware of for Netflix?
Solo and Roman, tribal combat.
So, I feel like we just keep seeing
Roman and Solo.
Oh my God, yeah, like.
I think this is it.
I hope so.
I hope so too, in a sense.
I hope so. Well, they were saying they were going to do big things with Solo, and I mean, I guess in a way, they kind of this whole new bloodline versus the old bloodline is kind of a big thing. It's been all we've been seeing, but he's not a champion or anything like that.
I think Solo is an okay wrestler. I don't think he's unreal, but I think he's okay.
Yeah, I think he come up a lot faster than his brothers.
I think
whoa.
The biggest thing for him is, you know, the biggest sort of credit I can give to him would be, I think he's taken it well in his stride to be thrown in that sort of position. Like he's a pretty big deal at the moment. Like it has been for the last.
No, he is.
Like not as in like wrestler status, but
as in like
they've made him a big deal on SmackDown.
As a face of wrestling, he's a big deal.
And I think compared to like his brothers who were tag teams who had each other for a long time before they, you know, sort of did a lot. I think I think he deserves credit for that. Like he's been thrown in there and he's done pretty well.
That's like I was saying. Like I remember the first time I seen Jimmy and Jay. I seen them as Jimmy and Jay. Yeah. And I don't even know if they were tag team champions at this stage.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if, like, maybe they'd held the title, but they didn't have it at this point.
Yep.
But I don't even think they did, to be honest.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like Solo got the push faster.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that makes me think, like, what are they going to do with Solo?
Yeah.
For them to give him such a push in the public eye so quickly.
Yeah. I personally don't see him as a world champion yet.
I'm sorry, I don't either. No.
I think he's got a long way to go.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think throwing him in like the United States Championship picture and that, like if he gets away from that Roman situation and they sort of do their own thing, like I think a mid-card title for him is probably good for a start. Obviously, for Solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I obviously don't think he's world champion material yet. Like,
not yet.
Look how much Jay's done, and I still don't think he's sort of there.
I think Jay is there, but I get you. Like, if it's not Jay, why would it be Solo?
It's definitely not.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
like,
absolutely.
No.
But I think I think Jay could definitely be there over the next year or so if they put him in the right matches against the right people and do the right things with him.
And build him up like that.
That's right.
But again, it's what the storyline the creators want to do. It's what Triple H wants to do.
That's right.
But it's about who's selling as well because they need ratings. Absolutely. They need to pack these stadiums.
No, that's right. Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of your week, my dudes. Soak in all the wrestling you can, all the old school wrestling you can, whilst you can, in case the opportunity's not there anymore. And have a good night, my dudes. Much love to you all. Bye-bye.